I wanted to donate to you guys. I played this video game. I've talked about this before, but I played a video game so often that I injured my hand so severely that I had to go to a hand doctor.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and we've already looked at the lesser-known facts about the Fallout series, but as it turns out, there's a bunch of hidden details in arguably the best entry of them all. These are 25 things you didn't know about Fallout New Vegas. Let's have a gaze. Before we continue, we publish content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of our latest videos. Might have a child.
Howdy there, partner.
Fallout New Vegas hid a detail about our main protagonist that's fairly substantial. There's a quest where you're supposed to meet a wandering guitar player, the Lonesome Drifter. If you've picked up the Lady Killer perk, you get to ask him if he's 17, and when he confirms he's not, you can breathe a sigh of relief. Turns out the Courier has a little confession. He thinks he might have impregnated a woman in Montana 18 years ago before the game starts. Considering all the aimless wandering and dodging death across the Wasteland, it's entirely possible the Courier has a secret child roaming around somewhere out there. I'm surprised anyone can still make babies with all that radiation.
So long, friend.
Brahmin tipping. I included this one in the full series video, but I have to talk about it again because I'm so surprised I didn't know this. Did you know that you can tip Brahmin in every main Fallout game, except Fallout 4? Yep, it's a real thing. In Fallout 3 and New Vegas, sneaking up on a Brahmin and interacting triggers a hilarious pushing animation. The poor thing topples over, flops on its side for a few dramatic seconds, then gets back up like nothing happened. Poor little guy. Let's do it again. Planet of the Apes. Did you know about the Planet of the Apes ending tucked away in the game's final DLC? Here's the setup. At the very end, you're staring down a bunch of nuclear missiles that are about to go kaboom. If you have the Wild Wasteland perk equipped, you can make the truly chaotic choice. Blow up Caesar's Legion, the NCR, and pretty much everything else in sight. Go rogue, press the big red button, and the game rewards you with a special slideshow set against a backdrop eerily reminiscent of Planet of the Apes. Oh, and there's a voiceover explaining the catastrophic consequences of your creative problem solving.
Mojave, damning them all to hell. The act was discovered 200 years later as other couriers explored the Mojave wastes.
Lottery win origins.
Yeah! Who won the lottery? I did! Smell that air!
The first few missions in Fallout New Vegas give you a disturbingly close look at Caesar's Legion and their, let's call it, unique approach to town planning. Take the small town of Nipton, for example. You meet a man who proudly announces he won the lottery. Sounds like luck, right? Wrong. The lottery was actually a Legion contest. They stormed the town, slaughtered everyone else, and spared only the winners, so they could spread the terrifying news of Caesar's conquest. Basically, your prize was survive to traumatize your friends. It's a clever nod to Shirley Jackson's The Lottery, a short story where the winner also meets a grim fate, stoned to death.
We're crossed like the rest of these degenerates. It's useful that you happen by. I want you to witness the fate of the town of Nipton.
Meet of Champions. Many players have never heard of the hidden perk Meet of Champions, and yes, it's as twisted as it sounds. Activate it and you get bonus stats by devouring the heads of major characters in New Vegas. We're talking Mr. House, the King, Caesar, and President Kimball. Before you start chomping down on Elvis impersonators though, a few warnings. Doing this will sabotage most main missions and make your courier look like the villain of every Wasteland bedtime story. In short, dark, cruel, and probably not great for your social life. Unless your only friends are rad scorpions. The perk does grant a temporary boost of +1 luck, intelligence, charisma, and strength for 60 seconds after eating any human corpse, which isn't bad, I guess. Japanese changes. The Wasteland is filled with powerful tools, but if you really want to feel like the ultimate walking apocalypse, there are two weapons that put all the others to shame. Why? Because they don't use boring old bullets. The Fat Man and Little Boy. But if you aren't a history buff, you might not know that they are named after the actual bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki during World War II. In the Japanese version of the game, the Fat Man was politely renamed Nuka Launcher, but Little Boy stayed, because why not? Ghost suit. Imagine being trapped in a living suit, dying, and then having your corpse turned into a walking weapon of pure destruction. That's basically what the Y-17 enemy is in the game. It's a harness suit designed to bring its user back to home if they die. Except in true Wasteland fashion, the machine is malfunctioning. It doesn't know if the wearer is dead or where home base is, so it just aimlessly wanders around, killing everything in sight. And while you're fighting it, the Y-17 might eerily announce, "Hey, who turned out the lights?" That's a cheeky nod to Doctor Who and the dead humans who had their spacesuits hijacked by the Vashta Narrator in Silence of the Library and Forest of the Dead.
Hey, put that out the lights.
Intelligence switch.
Sorry, son. I fixed up your head as best I knew how. I guess I missed a spot.
It shouldn't surprise anyone that your intelligence stat in Fallout doesn't just affect your character. It also shapes how the entire game world reacts to you. Pump up your intelligence, and suddenly you're the witty problem solver with extra dialogue options. Keep it low though when you're basically stumbling through the wasteland like a confused radroach. But this doesn't mean it's worse. Take Freeside during the quest I Make You Care. If your intelligence is on the lower end and you ask a vagrant about weapons and loot, something wild happens. The vagrant suddenly starts speaking clearly and intelligently, warning you to avoid trouble. It's just like real life. For someone to sound intelligible, you just have to be dumber than them. Nice.
Cover the area methodically. I'm quite certain you'll happen upon them with only the most insubstantial of delays.
Highway to Heck. Fallout loves to put in little nods to its previous games, and even sometimes nods to games ahead. In Fallout New Vegas, while wandering the wasteland, you might stumble across a half-submerged, wrecked Highwayman, a clever throwback to the Highwayman from Fallout 2. Pop open the trunk and you'll find some energy, plus either Gold Slatch or My Chrysalis Highwayman playing in the background. It's wild how much detail and love went into something so tiny. Discovering this Easter egg is pure luck, but the fact that the developers cared enough to craft it so meticulously, that's the kind of thing that makes you pause, smile, and then carry on looting the wasteland. Port Judgment.
Who the hell are you? They bring you in to replace me? They're replacing me, aren't they?
Early in Fallout New Vegas, you'll meet a character named Fantastic, and many players don't realize his facade is total BS. He's supposedly the head scientist at an NCR-controlled facility, tasked with getting a solar-powered energy plant back online. Turns out Fantastic is mostly full of hot air. He forged his credentials to get the job and considers himself a genius at everything, despite utterly failing to get the plant running. During the quest, The Lucky Old Son, if you arm Archimedes 1 and spare Fantastic, you might come back to a shocking scene. Fantastic, decked out in Legion armor, standing over the body of his co-worker whom he just offed. His chilling response? Hey man, when in Rome. I don't think that applies to murder, bud.
Man, I don't even know. It's crazy.
Skywalker Burn. Who doesn't love a good Star Wars Easter egg? Fallout New Vegas sneaks in a tribute that will make classic Star Wars fans both grin and wince. If you've got the Wild Wasteland perk and wander into Nipton, you might stumble across two charred bodies named Owen and Beru. Any Star Wars fan will immediately recognize them as Luke Skywalker's doomed uncle and aunt who got wiped out by the Empire while searching for R2-D2 and C-3PO in A New Hope. Thanks for that fun little Easter egg, Fallout. What the f***? Vault 34 Lady.
Prophecy. Do we look like a bunch of religious idiots?
As it turns out, some secrets even hide in the wallpapers Bethesda used to promote New Vegas. Take, for example, one featuring a young lady looking all coquettish in a Vault 34 jumpsuit. Turns out, this isn't just some random Vault girl, it's actually Pearl, the leader of the Boomers, back in her youth. Basically, Pearl's been cool and subtly intimidating since day one, and apparently she's photogenic enough to double as a marketing poster. Who knew the Boomers had style?
So we can get used to what it's like to have a outsider around and about. Should that go well, maybe you can help in big ways, too.
Accidentally ending companions. Accidents happen. Eventually, something's going to go sideways and leave you wondering why the universe hates you. Fallout New Vegas gets this too, and it does it with style. In the town of Novak, an old NCR ranger can teach you a combat move that paralyzes your enemies. Sounds awesome, right? Well, here's the catch. Your companions aren't immune. If they wander in front of you while you're practicing, Bam, they're knocked flat and paralyzed. And thanks to some questionable AI programming, your companions love wandering right into the line of fire. So it ends up looking like you're the villain in your own Wasteland story. One minute you're honing your skills, the next minute Veronica is flailing on the ground. Oops. First world problems. The number of ways your character can bite the dust in Fallout New Vegas is borderline hilarious. Animal mauling, shot by guns, blown up, stabbed, cliff tumble, or even succumbing to poison. Pretty standard Wasteland stuff. But here's a shocking twist. In hardcore mode, one of the ways you can die is from not drinking water. For those who didn't try hardcore, you wouldn't even realize this is a gameplay mechanic you completely avoided. It's both strange and unsettling that something as simple as forgetting to hydrate can kill you in a world where everything else is trying to murder you. Nuclear apocalypse, sure, raiders, fine. But forgetting to drink water? That's apparently the real endgame. Celebrity voice actors.
This guy is the leader of a gang called the Chairmen.
I play Benny, who is a very driven, kind of rat pack type guy.
Baby, you can't just leave me tied up. Those Legion boys will put me on a cross for the mess you made.
Video games love sprinkling in a few celebrity voices, but Fallout New Vegas went all out. They got Matthew Perry, yes, Chandler Bing himself, to play the smooth-talking villain Benny, which most of us know. But wait, there's more. Chris Christopherson, Danny Trejo, Felicia Day, Zachary Levi, Renee Aubergenois, John Dowman, Michael Dorn, William Sadler, Rob Corddry, Alex Rocco, Will Wheaton, Zoe Bell, and even Dave Foley, the voice of Flick in A Bug's Life. It's basically a celebrity Wasteland party, just with more gunfire, radiation, and exploding Brahmin.
Mr. House, he's a very strange and enigmatic character.
Give me 20 years, and I'll reignite the high technology development sectors. 50 years, and I'll have people in orbit.
Narrator is an actual character.
I don't even know how to load a game player, much less play the games. No, my mind doesn't work like that.
Not even being tempted?
The only game I play is Free Cell Solitaire. I have it on my phone and my iPad, and that's it.
Love a bit of solitaire.
I left Ron Perlman off that list of celebrity voices because I wanted to talk about him now. He's been the ever-present narrator across the Fallout series, dropping lines like "War never changes," with the gravitas of a man with his face. But here's the thing, while his voice has been everywhere, that intense face has never shown up in the games. He's basically Fallout's invisible, all-knowing god, Morgan Freeman, if Morgan Freeman ran on Radaway instead of charisma. That said, a bug in Fallout New Vegas let players escape the ending slideshow, and what they found was shocking. Ron the Narrator, a secret in-game character that nobody was ever meant to see. Turns out he's just a placeholder, but still cool.
Blasted into the ground and earth. The last word of the last of the Twisted Hairs.
Fallout 3 concepts. While New Vegas was technically a spin-off, it was being made by people who knew the Wasteland better than Bethesda ever could. These are the kinds of developers who probably measure distance in rads and XP, not meters. Before Black Isle went under, they actually had a plan for their own Fallout 3, one that stuck with the original isometric style. Sadly, that version never saw the light of day, but a ton of its ideas were scavenged in true Wasteland fashion and rebuilt into New Vegas. The Nevada setting, Hoover Dam, Caesar's Legion, all concepts first dreamed up for the lost Fallout 3. Originally playable.
But I ain't a fink. Dig? You've made your last delivery, kid. Sorry you got twisted up in this scene.
One of the best things about Fallout New Vegas is how it lets you truly be whoever you want to be. You're not stuck as a vault kid with daddy issues this time. You can be a noble wanderer, a cold-blooded killer, or someone who just really hates giant rat scorpions. But Obsidian originally wanted to crank that freedom up to 11. Back when the game was still called Fallout Sin City, yes, really, and no, not the one with Bruce Willis, players were going to be able to choose from 3 playable races: human, ghoul, or super mutant. Imagine rocking up in the desert as a giant green brute trying to flirt your way through dialogue checks. Useless perk.
Try crouching down and staying still. It'll help your aim.
Fallout New Vegas perks make it so you can boost your skills, get better criticals, or even talk your way out of a gunfight with enough charisma and bad decisions. But there's one perk you should absolutely avoid, like it's carrying the FEV virus. On paper, it's supposed to give you an extra 5 points of damage threshold against energy weapons while wearing metal armor. Sounds great, right? Problem is, thanks to a little coding hiccup, it actually gives you nothing. Zilch. It's basically a perk-shaped participation trophy. The bug happens because the game checks if the weapon's file name contains energy, but in the game's data, they're actually called energy weapons, so the perk looks for energy, finds nothing, and politely shrugs. Huge fan of the franchise.
All right. We're out of time. We have to get to this because I don't want to not do this. You have something to donate to us for eBay to raise money for the Humane Society of the United States?
I do.
We're jumping back to celebrity voice actors and looking closer at Matthew Perry. Did you know it wasn't his name, talent, or acting chops that landed him the role? It was pure, unfiltered fanboy energy. Back in 2009, while promoting 17 again on the Ellen DeGeneres show, he suddenly launched into a heartfelt declaration of love for Fallout 3. The man practically glowed with Voltec devotion. He even gave Ellen a copy of the game and an Xbox 360 to play it on. Apparently, that moment caught the attention of Bethesda's higher-ups, who thought, well, this guy really likes Fallout, let's make him a sleazy mobster in the next one. And thus, he was cast as Benny in New Vegas.
But I signed it, so it looks like I created
What's it about? What is it?
It's a post-apocalyptic world.
I see.
Run around and kill things.
I see. And you say it's 666 is the number that you have.
Brutal.
Wow.
Brutal.
All right, and you have the Xbox as well?
Then, there's an Xbox 360 in here that I signed.
All right. For all you devil worshippers out there.
Yeah.
Benny is based on a real person.
Guess who's waking up over here?
Time to cash out.
We're almost done with Perry-adjacent entries. Benny is one of gaming's all-time greatest slippery bastards. But as it turns out, he was inspired by a real person, Benjamin Bugsy Siegel. Like Benny, Bugsy had a thing for flashy suits and bad life choices, and both men built their legacies around the Vegas Strip. He was a full-time mobster and part-time entrepreneur, dabbling in everything from Prohibition-era booze running to good old-fashioned assassination before deciding that gambling was his true passion.
The idea behind the character.
Any questions you got, I'll answer.
Made in only 18 months. Fallout New Vegas has more bugs than a Radroach convention, and there's a big reason why. Bethesda only gave Obsidian 18 months to make the entire game. 18 months. That's barely enough time to finish building one of New Vegas's casinos, let alone an entire open-world RPG. Honestly, it's impressive the game booted up at all. To put that in perspective, Bethesda's own RPGs usually take around 4 years to make. Obsidian had less than half that time, an unfamiliar engine, and probably a collective caffeine intake that violated OSHA standards. Scrapped romance options.
Now that I'm free of the outpost, was wondering if you'd mind making a detour.
During early development, Obsidian toyed with the idea of adding romance options for companions. But instead of heartfelt love stories, the plan was for the Courier to have a series of weird, awkward, and probably ill-advised romantic misadventures with their crew. The Bachelor Mojave edition. Most of these ideas didn't get far before being scrapped, but one stood out. Cass and the Courier were going to get blackout drunk and end up getting married on a whim at the King's School of Impersonation, complete with an Elvis track playing in the background. That's not a quest, that's a Vegas weekend gone perfectly right and horribly wrong at the same time.
Let's see what you got.
Considered a failure.
So, of course, as you go around, you find out that what you were carrying is centrally tied into this major conflict in the area between New California Republic and Caesar's Legion.
It kind of feels like Bethesda would rather pretend Fallout New Vegas never happened. Anytime the studio talks about the series, it's all our game's this, our vault's that, like the Mojave just mysteriously fell into a black hole somewhere between 3 and 4. To make things worse, the deal Obsidian got for New Vegas was, well, let's just say less than legendary. They were paid a flat fee up front with no royalties, and the only bonus they'd get was if the game hit 85 on Metacritic. It ended up scoring 84 on Xbox 360. War never changes, and neither does your paycheck. The lack of royalties and that missed bonus ended up leading to layoffs at Obsidian, proving that in the games industry, business is still business.
It's about choice. You know, do I want to be the nice guy? Do I want to be the bastard?
Endgame plan had to be cut.
And so the courier who had cheated death in the cemetery outside Good Springs
cheated death once again.
Considering how New Vegas never misses a chance to punish or reward your choices, it's kind of odd that the game abruptly ends after the final showdown. Originally, Obsidian had an entire post-game planned, a full endgame experience that got condensed into the infamous slideshow, probably because of the 18-month development cap. If you dig through the game's files, you'll even find remnants of this scrapped content. It wouldn't have rewritten the Wasteland entirely, but it would have let you stick around to see your decisions actually ripple through the Mojave. Mr. New Vegas was supposed to report all the fallout, pun fully intended, in detailed news stories, while enemies would have shown up in unexpected locations, depending on your choices. Basically, your chaos would have had consequences you could actually watch unfold, instead of just staring at a series of slides like a post-apocalyptic PowerPoint.
Tabitha and Rhonda went east, through Caesar's land. Occasionally, tales of their exploits found their way back west.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of our latest videos.